Welcome to the Biodiversity and Conservation Master Symposium at Oxford University. Students spoke about their past research, involvement in various projects, and unique experiences from all around the world.
Art and other sort of things, but today I'm gonna focus on what we're doing with two local cattle ranchers. We selected two women, very strong, powerful women. We help them with technical training and electric fencing, and each season we go there and help them plan their management route with the cattle.
I had to work out the average latitude of each species, where their location was based, then plot them, not alphabetically, but by latitude. Generally, you would expect them to move northwards with climate change, but we also wanted to see how the diversity statistics changed.
I found really interesting was through GPS vulture monitoring.
And that's Laceasteria in a front garden in Sheffield. How have all these Himalayan plants ended up in British gardens but completely erased from the Himalayan landscape? I realized that this was part of a larger colonial trend that had taken place between the 1820s and the 1840s, which was roughly between the time at which the Himalayan kingdoms was acceded to the British under the British East India Company.
So where I went, you can see this very small map. Svalbard is 1,000 kilometers north of Norway. It's a tiny archipelago. The areas and translocations to Rwanda, recently to Mozambique, and most recently 16 white rhino to the northern DRC.
I travelled to Silva, which is a tiny island off of Croatia.
I went on an expedition to Mongolia that was really looking at, we had a wide array of aims, looking at archaeology, we did a bunch of botany surveys, and I was part of our zoological survey team as well.
I was responsible for taking part of the bird survey, which was mostly structured around finding this lost species to try to have a full idea of its distribution since it was found nearby.
We are looking at the protein to deuterium ratio in the hydrogen isotopes in the leaf waxes.
We're only just sort of starting to understand the levels of which nutrients and deterrents koalas can eat. So that's what my honours research was on, was sort of determining and looking at 3 different species of eucalyptus that are common to koalas in Biripi country.
I had a project with 3 other collaborators on the impacts of marine protected areas on fish and coral communities.
But I also tested the influence of chemical cues, such as these neuropeptides as well, and I looked at mesomorphosis. So this is the physiological changes in the body which mark the beginning of the benthic adult stage of the life cycle. So this is when
We heard about a wide array of environmental and social issues and their creative solutions.
The worst thing that can happen is that you're telling someone to do regenerative agriculture and then you have the government come and give them fertilizers and seeds and whatever. So you have like different discourses going on.
Here's the problem they're facing. So from the distribution, you may think, oh, climate change is probably an important threat to them. It is the case, but it's not the most urgent one. So the most urgent threat right now is actually gene pollution.
there was historically a lot of conflict with the macaques going down from the rock into the town and stealing food and causing havoc with the locals.
And they ranked the biodiversity crisis as the 7th most important crisis, so it's definitely not a priority for Dutch people. And also, half of the respondents did not know what the word biodiversity meant.
In terms of designing the solutions for transferring those risks, the main challenges are regulation.
And our main kind of idea is that you don't want to protect what you don't know and love. So therefore, in order to make people want to protect the oceans, you first need them to like it and enjoy being in it and close to it.
The idea that forests are these communities of entities which share with one another and perhaps care about one another also makes some ideas like the idea of Mother Earth and things like this more palatable to Westerners.
All the answers are inside you. One mentor once told me that we are so afraid to look inside ourselves because we think we are going to find darkness. But what if I tell you that you have been living in darkness probably all this time, and looking inside might be the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. And the third one is that enjoyment is the fuel of long-term impact.
And this needs more development. And if we're thinking about building new accommodation blocks, we have this beautiful conservation area, but if we don't understand what's there, then we might think to build over it.
It's a multi-billion-dollar
field, which means that there's a lot of money out there for these projects, which could make it a nice conservation opportunity if that's kind of integrated into the idea of what the current market is.
Nature in the UK, especially urban nature, is undervalued, pushed down by narratives deeming it boring. But by re-establishing positive, engaging experiences with urban nature, we can start to reshape how these spaces are perceived by communities, and this can help push for better wildlife conservation and engagement, as well as benefit the local people.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Although an extensive range of topics was discussed, a common thread that unites everybody here is the love and care for nature and biodiversity we all hold.